Ready?
We're started.
Okay. Many of your sweater patterns that you run into are going to ask you to taper the shoulders rather than have them go straight across, giving better fit. As you can see on this, we have tapered the shoulder, which is evident from the fact that these cables become farther apart as they get closer to the neck. So the shoulder is tapered nicely down here. The usual way that your pattern will have you accomplish that is to bind off a given number of stitches at the beginning of every alternate rows, for example. Doing that will result in what we call steps. You can see on this sample here where we have bound off, it looks like 6 or 7 stitches at the beginning of every other row 4 times. You've achieved the slope that you're looking for, but you've given yourself a rather difficult seam to sew. If you would like a nice smooth shoulder seam, as we have in this one, which is achieved usually with the 3-needle bind off, you can do that instead of doing your stepped bind off in this sample. You can do that by doing what we call short rows, which is simply not completing the row, turning and going back in the opposite direction. You can see that that's been done on this sample here. There are more stitches on this end than there are on this end. If you simply go almost to the end of the row, as we've said, and turn and go back the other way, this results in, as you can see, holes at the point where you've turned. A good way to avoid, well actually the only way I know to avoid doing that, is to wrap your stitch, which we will show you in a minute. If you wrap your stitch, you can see, I'm going to take this needle for a minute, you can see where we've wrapped right here in 3 places. You probably don't want that showing up on your finished garment, so let's show you a way that you can achieve the slope shoulder by wrapping and then what we call hiding the wraps. We actually have a sample here where I have already done short rows once at each end. We will show you now the technique of wrapping. As you're coming to the end of this purl row, I have 10 stitches here. I want to slip this stitch to the right hand needle, bring this yarn to the other side, and slip it back. At that point I'm ready to turn and knit the next row. As you can see, I've left 10 stitches remaining on the right hand needle. Not worked, but they're still live stitches so that we can later do the 3-needle bind up. At this point we're going to go to the other end, leave 10 stitches on the other end, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, wrap it from this way, bring it to the opposite side, and slip it back. Bring your yarn to the other side, and you can see here where you've wrapped that stitch. So now you're ready to turn, go back in the opposite direction. You are actually finished at this point with your shaping, but what you need to do is go back and hide those wraps. So let's go until we see where those wraps are lurking. There should be 2 of them on each side. Here's one. So we want to take this, here's the wrap, you can see it right here. You want to purl that together with the next stitch on your needle. this can result in, it's usually a two-step process to get both of those up and over the needle. Wait a minute. There we go. Well, the yarn split a little bit there. Now we'll go down here. There should be another wrap down on this end. Oh, here we go. We're going to pick this up like so. Get it together with the next stitch on your needle, and it gets purled with that one. That one actually came out a little better. Well, sorry, we're going to turn and go back down to the end of the row. So we have now hidden the wraps on the purl side. We should have two more on the opposite end on the knit side. We've hidden them over here, but as you can see, we still have the two on the knit side. So let's complete the process here. Get ourselves some more yarn to work with. And we're just going to go to the other end. There, I just knit across the first one of those wraps. Should be another one coming up. This is where the yarn split previous time. Let's just fix that. Okay. There's one coming up. There's a wrap coming up. So we're going to catch this right here. We're going to put it on the needle with the next stitch and knit it together with that stitch. I find that's a sort of a two-step process to hitch that up and over. Now there should be one more down the other end. Aha, here we go. Get that up onto the needle together with this one. Around and knit those two together. Again, I find that's a two-step process to get that up and over. Now, let me just do a couple more stitches to finish the row, and we'll have a look. What we've done here is sort of a condensed version of what you would find on the back of a sweater. You have it, you can see you have it sloping this way, and then you have it sloping this way. Perhaps if we took that off the needle, we could see that a little better. If you can see that, this is your straight line, and you have more stitches in the center, sloping towards this end, sloping towards that end. And nowhere in there can you find where we've hidden the wraps. This gives you the nice line of live stitches where you can do your 3-needle bind off.